All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music and real tragedy in the world of DJing. So this one kind of hits close to home and doing it in real time for a few real music folks out there, just like you and just like me. This video dedicated to the great Jim Ladd, and I will be talking about Jim's passing. Before I do that, check out Sunstorm. This is Edge of Tomorrow. Any of the Sunstorm records with Jolene Turner are going to be all winners, okay? If you like Deep Purple Rainbow, there's definitely some of that on this project. The song Edge of Tomorrow is like predictive programming, okay? But it's great stuff. The video has gone over 1 million over on YouTube, so you can check out the video for Edge of Tomorrow. Jolene Turner and Sunstorm, you really just can't go wrong. Now, Jim Ladd inspired Tom Petty's The Last DJ, one of my favorite all-time Tom Petty songs, where Tom just destroys the music industry in the song. Jim Ladd, who inspired Tom Petty's The Last DJ, dead at 75. Veteran Los Angeles radio host died on December 16th after suffering a heart attack. Yeah, I know, he was 75, right? Doesn't say if he was sick prior, because he was on the air fairly recently. The news was confirmed on Sirius XM by DJ Meg Griffin, who replaced Ladd for what would have been his regular Deep Tracks show on Monday. She says, "I am so sorry for the shock that just hit you as you were listening right now." She said this on air. She added that Ladd never stopped caring. He delivered the truth. He lived for the music. Ironically, there's a line in The Last DJ that says, "Why should you pay for what you once got for free?" So yeah, the Sirius XM thing is definitely better, but it's still corporate radio. It's just not as corporate, and they give you more choices, so you end up paying for those choices. I know on regular radio, you have to listen to advertising. If you pay for a Sirius XM subscription, you don't have to pay for ads. But, based on listening to Sirius XM myself, I think they could do even more than they do. They do offer quite a bit of variety, but I think they could explore the music world even more than they do. That's just my humble opinion. Anyway, enough about me and more about Jim Ladd. His radio career began at the Long Beach radio station KNAC in 1969. Before he moved to LA, and then KLOS in 1971, and then KMET, the Mighty Met, until 1987. And he stayed there until a sudden and controversial format change. I've been a part of one of those. I was working at a top 40 station that went oldies. Yeah, that was a really weird thing that happened. But anyway, so it might have been controversial because maybe the format was doing well, and then somebody came along and just figured they could make more money doing some other format. This is a great line here. His refusal to follow playlists made it difficult for him to find regular work until he signed up once again with KLOS under what he called his free-form radio approach. Well, see, these guys, the way they have to describe it, like free-form radio, what's that? Well, it's what Jim wants to play, and it might be also what people call in and request. Jim might actually listen to all 10 or 11 songs or how many songs on an album, and he might decide to pick out the ones he likes the most. Heaven forbid that we go back to that approach. He was heard on the air from 1997 until 2011 at KLOS. He then moved to Sirius XM. Now again, Sirius XM is better, but it's still not the best. And it doesn't solve the problem of not wanting to pay for radio. I could deal with terrestrial radio stations that played commercials, but also played music that other radio stations didn't play. In other words, doing the old free form radio. That would be cool. Ladd became close friends with Roger Waters, and the DJ inspired the former Pink Floyd member's second solo album called Radio Chaos, released in 1987. Ladd played the fictional DJ on the album and its subsequent tour. He was also the inspiration for Tom Petty's 2002 album, The Last DJ, which featured songs critical of radio commercialization and was boycotted by some stations. Man, this guy left a great legacy. You can't go against the narrative. You got to stick to the playlist, Jim. Jim, if you would just stick to the playlist, everything would be great. Stay in your lane, dude. The title track refers to Ladd in the opening lines. Well, you can't turn him into a company man. You can't turn him into a whore. And the boys upstairs just don't understand anymore. I don't know if the boys upstairs ever understood. Let me just be clear on that. I mean, I have to say this. The classic rock station I worked for was essentially freeform. So I worked during that era where I could actually pick out the songs I was going to play within reason. And sometimes I could really go off the deep end if I was DJing later at night, so long as, again, I wasn't playing anything outside the format. But yeah, I had a lot of radio freedom as a DJ. Ladd also was a writer and producer and hosted the interview show Interviews for many years. He appeared in the 1989 rom-com Say Anything. That's supposed to be a romantic comedy. And was heard to Die For, or in To Die For, and Tequila Sunrise. Also, She's Out of Control, and Rush, and Defender. So he's been in a lot of movies. He played a news reporter in the 1989 movie Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. Better watch out. Sounds like a B movie, but still. He received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2005. Now, accolades are coming in from well-known musicians. Tom Petty's estate says Jim was a friend. He was a close friend of Tom. His insights into rock and roll were priceless. Jim's voice will be missed on the airwaves. Our family joins in mourning his loss. Neil Sean says, God bless Jim, as he was the best and paved the way for many to follow. My sincere condolences to family and friends. Rest in peace, brother. I will always cherish the great memories of our friendship. Again, that's Neil Sean, sounding more like Jonathan Cain. Anyway, Robbie Krieger noted he was the best friend in radio the Doors ever had. Even when people forgot about us in the late 70s, he kept playing our music. Yeah, I mean, Jim may have inspired a couple of Doors revivals in the 80s, actually. Michael McKeon, who's also known as David St. Hubbins, and wasn't it Lenny of Lenny and Squiggy too? Anyway, he was in Spinal Tap, said, sorry to hear about Jim Ladd. My encounters with him were always pleasant, and he played along with the jokes like a pro. Peter Frampton described Ladd as a good friend and a special man with a huge passion for music. And finally, Grace Slick said his curiosity and care could be felt in each of his broadcasts. Now, that is something very important because in today's radio world, it's just go into the commercial break, talk about public service announcements, what's going on at the Rotary Club, or just mindless chit chat. There are whole programs now dedicated to your health and wellness, right? And it runs like a syndicated show. And the music is added like flavoring. It's like, okay, we'll put a song here, and then for 5 minutes, We'll tell you why you should reduce your salt intake, and then we'll come back with a song. And it's mind blowing because the music is just a prop now. It's not really what's truly important. This guy lived for the music, as do I to some degree, although I have branched out into other lanes, as did Jim. Now, I'm not comparing myself to Jim Ladd because this guy is a legend. Started back in 1969. But the point I'm trying to make is he loved the music. He wanted to talk about music. He wanted to elevate the music. And he also wanted formats not to be boring, redundant, and repetitive. And so Tom Petty paid tribute. Roger Waters obviously befriended him. And this is truly the last DJ, or one of the last DJs. I mean, I'm sure there are a few out there, but how many of them have compromised? This guy didn't. Now, some would say going over to Sirius, that was kind of a compromise. But my guess is they gave him carte blanche to do what he wanted to do. So our thoughts and prayers obviously go out to his family. He died obviously suddenly of a heart attack, which wasn't really focused on all that much in this article. But, in the medical world, that's just a slam dunk now. He died of a heart attack. Okay, just move on. Some people have heart attacks and they don't die. Some, not all. But in any event, it's really sad because I know that this stuff is going away and people are going to forget. People are definitely going to forget about the way music used to be. All right. Here's Jolene Turner. This is kind of a throwback musically. Sunstorm. It's a little more up-to-date musically speaking, but still, if you like Deep Purple, Michael Schenker Group, Rainbow, there are some other influences in this as well. But Jolene Turner, this is, I think, about 7 years ago, just does a great job on this album. And the music, the lyrics are very thought-provoking, much like this channel. Also, thanks for being here. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm getting very close to 75,000 subscribers, but right now it's like inching up a hill at like 2 miles per hour. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you want to help me go over 75K, please do that. I know I have a lot of viewers that don't subscribe, and I don't beg for subscribers like I should. I tend to beg for support, which, I have some great patrons and some great YouTube members who are getting early access to content. So please, if you can help me out, I very much appreciate that. In the meantime, God bless you all. God bless Jim Ladd and his family. And don't forget to pray for peace all around the world.